Hey gang, and welcome back. These videos are brought to you by Card Conduit, the best place to sell your unused collection fast and easily. 401 Games, Canada's top shop for all your hobby and TCG needs. Dragon Shield, the strongest sleeves for your strongest decks. Moxfield, the easiest way to store and share your deck lists. And Foil Armor, flatten your foils fast. Today's game has Desmond winning the die roll and starts us off. He draws and plays an underground mortuary, surveilling one. Josh's turn has him playing a Plains and tapping it for 1 white for Mother of Runes. Kratos draws, plays an island, and casts Skullclamp. Kuzno's land for turn is a tapped Temple of Mystery, and he gets to scry 1. Desmond plays out a Wooded Foothills, and then pays 1 colorless for Lavisper Boots. Once the boots are out, he cracks the Wooded Foothills, searching for a land as he passes. Josh plays a mountain and casts an Izzet Signet. Chris plays a Desolate Lighthouse and also casts an Izzet Signet. Kuzno plays another tapped land with a Sodden Verdure and ships it. Desmond draws, playing an untapped Overgrown Tomb, taking 2. He then pays 3 for a Morbid Opportunist. Josh plays a Cascade Bluffs and casts a Roaming Throne, naming God as it comes in, and then passes. Chris has got a mountain, and casts the once standard all-star Vivi. He then equips Vivi with the Skullclamp, and passes. Kuzno's got a forest, and plays out a Great Forest Druid. Desmond plays a Phyrexian Tower, and brings out Dina. Once she's out, he gives her the Lavisper Boots, and passes after that. Josh plays a Sundown Pass and brings out Kratos. He then swings the Roaming Throne at Desmond. This gets Josh 2 experience counters, and Desmond takes 4. After that, Josh puts 2 counters onto Kratos and the Roaming Throne from the Kratos trigger during his end step. Chris draws, plays a Reliquary Tower, and then activates Vivi's ability to give him some mana so he can cast the Locust God. He passes after that. Kuzno plays a Dreamroot Cascade, and casts Primo, putting 2 into the X. He ships it once his commander resolves. Desmond's got a Forest Return, and he casts a Rib Trust Roaster, sacrificing the Morbid Opportunist to the Devour trigger. This has Desmond draw enough of Dina, and he then moves to his end step, and gets to make a Pest token before passing turn. Josh draws, plays an island, and he casts Imposter Syndrome. He then swings the Roaming Throne at Chris, and Kratos goes at Kuzno. This time around, Josh gets 4 more experience counters, and Chris chumps the Roaming Throne with Vivi, while Kuzno takes the hit. Josh gets a copy of Kratos, and Chris gets to draw 2 cards from his Skullclamp from Vivi hitting the yard, which in turn also makes him 2 insect tokens. Josh then goes to his end step, and puts the counters onto his 2 Kratoses and Roaming Throne. Chris draws, and plays an Izzet Boilerworks, which comes in tapped. He bounces a land back to hand, and then casts a Frantic Search. This has him drawing 2 and discarding 2, plus untapping 3 lands, and making 2 insect tokens from drawing 2 cards. He then follows up with Will of the Jeskai, which has Chris and Josh wheeling from it. Chris in turn makes a bunch more insect tokens, and he then goes to combat. He sends the Locust God and 2 insects at Josh, and then 2 insects at Kuzno and Desmond each. They all take their hits, and Chris then passes turn. Kuzno's land drop is a Shifting Woodland, and he then casts a Growth Spiral. He puts to field a Tide Channel Pathway, and then casts Applied Geometry. He makes a copy of the Great Forest Druid with 6 counters on it, and then he goes to combat. He swings Primo at Chris. Chris in turn takes the hit, and Kuzno gets to make a 4/4 Fractal token. He then passes after that. Desmond draws and drops a Cabal Coffers, and he then sacrifices his Pest token to the Phyrexian Tower, making 2 black mana, and then casts Beldroth Witherbloom. He then pays 10 life, untapping his entire board of lands, and then casts a Haywire Might, and then an Arcane Signet. He ships it after that. Josh plays a Plains and brings out Othari. He goes to combat, and Chris casts a Rapid Hybridization, targeting Othari, but Josh responds to this, tapping his Mother of Ruins to give it protection from blue. With that on the stack, Desmond responds by sacrificing the Haywire Might to exile Imposter Syndrome and gains 2 life. Josh is then finally able to move to combat. He swings the original Kratos and the Roaming Throne at Desmond, and the copied Kratos at Kuzno, with Othari going at Chris. This has Josh getting a bunch of experience counters, and he then makes a bunch of rebels swinging at Chris. Chris jumps 4 of them with his insect tokens, while Desmond chumps Kratos and the Roaming Throne with his pest tokens, and Kuzno chumps with a fractal. The remaining creatures then connect. Josh then moves to his end step, and he puts the 3 Kratos triggers onto Othari, and 1 onto Mother of Ruins before passing turn. Chris draws, plays an Exotic Orchard, and then casts an Ashnod's Altar. With the Ashnod's Altar on the stack, Desmond responds with Tear Asunder to exile Skullclamp. The altar then resolves, and Chris continues by casting a Gilded Lotus. He then follows up with Perforos, God of the Forge. Chris then swings out at Josh for 10, and passes turn. Kuzno draws and plays a Tapestry Warden, and he then swings out at Josh as well. This has Josh responding with a Pongify, taking out the Great Forest Druid copy, but he still takes 8. This has Kuzno making a 4/4 Fractal from Primo, and he passes turn. Desmond draws, and he casts a Blossoming Bogbeast in his main phase. He then moves the Lavispur Boots onto the Bogbeast, and announces he'll go to combat. This has Desmond swinging everything at Josh, and on attack, the Blossoming Bogbeast gains him 2 life, which in turn pumps his creatures with Trample and +2/+2 until end of turn. Josh then takes a massive hit, and gets taken out before Desmond passes. Chris draws and makes an Insect token, which has Perforos dealing 2 to each of his opponents. He then activates the Locust God, looting a card, and making another Insect token to deal 2 more. He follows up by playing an island, and then casting Curiosity Crafter. Chris then swings 7 tokens at Kuzno, and they all connect. This has Chris drawing 7 cards off the Crafter, which in turn makes 7 more Insect tokens, dealing a total of 14 to each opponent. He then follows up with a Brain Surge, drawing 4 more, and dealing each opponent 8 more to take them out and win Chris the game. Game review time. What a swingy game. I thought Josh had it in the bag with his massive board of rebels and his Kratos making everything so big. All he was missing was some kind of trample enabler and he would have had it in the bag. But unfortunately for him, with a board state like that, everyone at the table has to gang up on you, otherwise they're gonna lose. That's just how it is. And that pretty much cleared the way for Chris to win. Yes, they used removal against some of his stuff, like Desmond using Tear Asunder against the Skullclamp, which I think was technically the right move, considering he was casting an Ashnod's Altar, which would have basically, I think, gone infinite. It's just a shame that there was no further removal for the Perforos. In a deck like the Locust God, Perforos is a ticking time bomb that if it isn't removed is pretty much game over. The table had 1 turn cycle and just didn't get there, unfortunately, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. This video wouldn't be possible without the help from my sponsors, but it definitely wouldn't be possible without the help from you, the viewers, and my patrons. So I just want to say thank you for watching, and to remember, friends are just opponents you haven't eliminated yet.